Good morning, educators. I, as the first speaker of the proposition team, are proudly presenting our case. Let's start with the context itself. So, automatization is the implementation of technologies such as computers, robots, and other kinds of technology to create a product with as few as human input as possible. Now, in this speech, the motion is that governments or the House would impose a heavy tax on manufacturing companies that are trying to automate their majority of their workforce. Alright, let's start with the status quo. In the year of 2025, we have experienced industrial revolution in the 4.0 stages. A lot of manufacturing industry are automatized, diminishing the need for a human workforce. Now, what is the problem in the status quo? The automatization of industry are able to lead to a problem where many human workforces are replaced by machinery. Stance. As the first speaker of the proposition team, we are okay with the idea of the nation giving a heavy tax to the manufacturing corporations that automate majority of their workforce. Our goal of support this motion is so that countries will regulate the way automation of workforces happen in their countries. As we all know, the purpose of a nation or specifically the government of a nation is to protect and improve their life, improve the well-being of its people. So our model will be that, as the mission suggests, the government of a nation, for example Indonesia, would impose a heavy tax on a manufacturing companies that tries to replace its human workforce with machinery. This can go in a form of imposing a taxation on the payment of automation machine, imposing a taxation of the operational cost of the machine itself, and taxation of the spare parts of the machine. Now, the tax from automation would be redistributed to fund the needs of public goods such as water, electricity, streets, and other infrastructure. Besides funding public goods, this taxation would be used to fund the means of job employment in Indonesia, such as to support the growing micro or small or medium level of entrepreneurship in Indonesia, and would also be redistributed in the form of transfer payment such as scholarship to students, whether it's college students or high school students. Alright, let's start. Now let's go to our burden of proof. Why is this justified? As stated by the mechanism in my speech, the capital or money from the taxation would be redistributed by the government to its people. Even if it ends up making the company not use the automation for creating their products, which results to government not being able to tax the company from the automation itself, it will still be okay, because this would prevent many manufacturing companies that has been relied by many citizens as a source of employment to replace the human workforce to machinery. Besides, as I have stated before in the goal section earlier, countries and governments have the obligation to protect and improve the life of their citizens. If country does not regulate the automation of workforce in its region, that means they have failed in fulfilling their obligation. Citizens also have the rights to be able to improve their lives and access workforce to put food in their family's table and to improve their general life. Besides, since citizens already have the obligation to pay tax imposed by the government, this means that the government must also support their citizens. Citizens have the rights to have a government that supports their cause instead of a government that only stands with corporations or private company. Argument. As the technology keeps improving, the government of countries also has to adapt and make sure to fulfill their obligation to protect and improve its citizen life. It is also to make sure that despite the advancement of technology by the Industrial Revolution, governments still be able to fulfill their obligations to the citizen, as the citizen itself has fulfilled their obligation to pay taxes to the government. Now, how is the status quo itself? The status quo, as I have stated earlier, states that many manufacturing companies are starting to replace human labor with machine. This situation must not be defended and must be regulated because many people still depend on physical labor related work as in manufacturing itself, manufacturing products, rather than jobs which require more heavier approach on knowledge. This is true especially in developing countries such as Indonesia, where many people thinks and well, and not things actually, but it's a reality for them that college is still a luxury to some people. Because of that, they decided to go into a labor-based job. Not regulating automation of manufacturing would cause so many people to lose their source of income. Alright, the regulation of automation of manufacturing companies would at least slow down and prevent the automation, the act itself. This would lead to many people keeping their importance in the economic circulation itself. By importance, I mean as the people possession of their protection factor, which is human resources. All human possess this protection factor, unlike investment or capital and resources like land that are only owned by some people, not all. By retaining people's possession of their protection factor, they can afford jobs where in the other hand they would be able to where it will result that they would be able to be paid by salary or income by their employer. When people are paid by their employer or afford job to gain capital, they will be able to fulfill their needs and they will have a purchasing power in society and can improve their life. This would also support and fulfill our goal, which is to make sure that the government protects its citizens. I would like to say that even the opposition says that the automation of manufacturing products could lead to a more efficient or very effective way to manufacture the product itself, it is still not enough to compensate for diminishing or reducing people's purchasing power in society because not all people have other kinds of protection factors. At the end, many companies target people as their market. They would actually risk themselves if they diminish people's purchasing power. Because of that, I, as the first speaker, likely supports this motion.